The Seattle Seahawks will start their second consecutive game without wide receiver DK Metcalf, and also out for this game is Noah Fant, who got his injury during a practice. It was actually on Thursday. All right, so let's get to it.
We've been talking about it for the whole time now, but just needs more time. So it's nothing that he could have done differently. It's just we just need more time for him. So that's what's best for him and the team. I think EJ was out today with a neck. It's just stiffened up on him, so we'll take that day by day. But we're just took care of him today, and then Noah hurt his groin in practice on Wednesday, I believe. So he's going to need some time, so he'll be out this week.
Mike, you've talked about consistency, that being key. Did you get the consistency in practice this week that you needed to see?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, again, we're still working it, but I'll tell you what, the guys really had a great week of prep. And this is fun. It was a fun 3 days of us getting after it, executing, playing fast inside 2 days. So, but all good. I think it was a great week.
How did George look comes back, Mike?
George looks good. George looks really good. If you're able to have some consistency, be able to bank some of those reps, how we're going to game plan it, that sort of thing. It was still one of those deals where we still weren't sure throughout the week. So now that it's clear on how we're going to operate, then that's why we decided to just list them out right now. What they've been doing, I think if you look at the last 2 games, just specifically watching those 2 guys, it just felt like the AB is coming along. We're going to keep pushing, and Mike Jarrell's been able to fill in and help us win a game. And just like with everybody else last game, we fell short in that regard, but he's really working his tail off, and I think he's playing some pretty good football. The last few games, I would say that might have been a fair assessment. Weeks 2 through 4 maybe, but not in the last few games.
Sorry to clarify, you said George is ready.
Transaction happened tomorrow. Early initial assessments and where he's at in his progress, we're optimistic we'll get him back at some point. Men and women in the armed services. My dad I've been around that world for a long time. My dad being a West Point grad. A lot of my family, my aunt was in town this past week. She was a nurse in Vietnam. Met her husband in Vietnam. My other 2 aunts were nurses in the military as well. So just an immense respect for those people and protecting our country and putting their lives on the line. And then this is the top of the top in terms of teams operating at a really high level. A lot of takeaways that our team can learn from that I feel are valuable that apply to our world. We're not a war in any stretch of the matter, but there are a lot of parallels in what it takes to be successful. And I think our guys realize that it's not a just say what we're going to do, but both guys are looking good, stacking good practices. The cool part is you got 2 guys that can really help us on Sunday. So we'll see who's out there to begin the game.
All right, so there you go. You heard from Mike Macdonald post-practice video, and he said obviously it's a big loss without DK Metcalf. Silver lining a little bit there is the fact that they've had 2 weeks to be able to kind of offset, obviously a massive blow to the offense. And then, look, the 3 things have to happen. Well, more than 3 things, but my 3 keys to this for a Seahawks win here: the offensive line has to play their best game of the season, and for that, we know that right guard Anthony Bradford will start. We don't know who's going to start at right tackle. Yes, it's been Mike Jarrell the last couple games, but today Mike Macdonald said, you know what, George Fant is ready to go, and so, but right now they would have to make a roster move. That means bring him up, and he's practiced all week, Fant has, so we'll just have to wait and see. Probably Saturday around 1 p.m. is when the NFL mandates that the Seahawks have to make that roster move for Sunday's game. So, Connor Williams is going to have to really come to play, and obviously Charles Cross has to continue. Lincoln Thomas, the way that they're playing, that offensive line has to play as a team, regardless, because they're facing a Rams defense that is number 1 in the league in pressure. So, to offset that, you're going to have to win this early downs, as we've talked about all week and really all season. Number 2, the Seahawks defensive line of Byron Murphy, Leonard Williams, Jaron Reed, and let me put front 7 in there. Draymond Jones and also Boya Mafe. They all have to come to play. They got to get their run fits. We've talked about that all week, but they have to do this. They have to be disciplined in terms of staying in their gap. We've talked about that all week as well. This is a really a must execute game for the Seahawks here. They just have to go out there and be physical. They have to be dominant and, you know, just play carefree football. It's about that time. And I also talked to Jackson Smith-Njigba. Just finished talking to him actually, and he said, you know what, I get that there's no DK Metcalf. I can't replace DK Metcalf, but whatever it is they want from me, the team, that is, if he run longer routes down the field, he can do that. And you know, and that's really the attitude that the team needs to have to a man. Look, they have to play good, fundamental, physical football, error-free. They just have to put it all together here, and they have to go out there and play. It's about that time. Will it happen? Let's hope so. I mean, it's raining, and that should favor the Seahawks. I think they will. And, you know, sooner or later, right, they got to, everybody on the 52 has to come out and play on both sides of the ball and put it all together, and I think they will on Sunday. From the VMAC in Renton, I'm Asvita Maria for the CascadiaSports.net report. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing.